Hey, welcome to the Rediscover Geek podcast. This is episode 18 because I was informed that it's not 19
Or
when we did the
20.
first take
Or
of
20.
this, or 20. Wait up.
You said
So
19
we
or 20.
started so you can have it clean when you go back to the same thing.
I told you, man, it's gonna be organic. You want to start over again? We can do it. Since
No.
we're not live. We can
Let's
do
start
this.
over because we messed up, and then
No.
we're gonna repeat it on the next take.
Let me tell you how I messed up on the last one and why we're re-recording.
Brilliant.
I'm trying to be transparent, man. I'm all about transparency.
Brilliant.
So here we are. This is episode 18 of the Rediscover Geek podcast. We are not live.
I know. Bummer.
Yeah, because Caesar's internet took a crap on him, and
Actually, now that I think about it, I think this is episode 17 because we didn't record last week.
No, last week was 18.
last week was 18. See? Oh my god, I was right. It's episode 19. It would have been episode 19 if we
No, like
No,
in the
that-
folder, it's episode 17 Console Wars because we were going to talk about PlayStation and Xbox, but we didn't record last week. So this is in fact episode 17.
Okay.
I don't
I don't
even
know.
know anymore. I think
Yeah,
this
it doesn't
was
matter. Anyways, episode 17, guys, of the Rediscover Geek podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching for our first episode on YouTube. This is actually going to be the first live one, not live, but first one we're uploading to YouTube. So hopefully people check this out. If not, that sucks. But not much we can do about that.
Oh my god.
So how's everybody? It's been like 2 weeks, guys. Took a little hiatus. How's everybody been?
Is everyone doing okay?
Yeah, I'm having a rough time. I wouldn't say it's my internet. It's fucking Spectrum, unfortunately, and it sounds like Tony's having some of his own issues. And one thing I want to touch on, I don't want to throw Spectrum under the bus, but I'm gonna. And that's because I have a lot of friends that like to stream, and I've been seeing a lot of complaints on social media, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Facebook. A lot of my friends are complaining, and they all happen to have Spectrum. Whether it's lagging out, whether their stream just shuts down, it's all internet issues, and they all seem to have Spectrum. So whatever the tech told me yesterday, I hope that's the case, and it's not something that's more worldwide or nationwide, because that's going to be a problem. But yeah, we're not live because of Spectrum, not because of me.
But it's your Spectrum, so it's kind of like
God damn it.
partly your fault. I'm on Spectrum,
Versus.
and I'm on
Seriously,
Spectrum,
man,
and
I
I'm
need that
still alive.
versus right now.
So I have Spectrum and have had no issues. So, anywho, Anthony, you
You've
doing
had
well?
constant issues.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you're always talking about how you're fluctuating. What's
True.
up right now? It's down. Oh, I don't know if we could do this, guys. Oh, it's up again. Well, we should do
Alright,
this
well.
real quick before it gets worse.
Anthony, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. It feels like a long week already, but it's only Tuesday.
True. I'm doing myself doing okay. As you can see, I have
It's a
changed
wonderful
my
backdrop.
layout, and I got this boring backdrop of wood behind me.
Wood and cardboard.
Wood and cardboard. So these are all like these are cardboard boxes. These are all
Oh,
my
man.
these are comic boxes. I have more behind me. I have some down here. I have another 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right there, and there's about 8 or 9 in.
Good thing you're not a high risk fire area.
Oh, but this entire house is wood.
What are
Which
you
is
talking
going
about?
like
We live,
Kindle.
we live in California. Of course we are.
The whole area now is high risk.
This house was built in like the 40s. Hasn't been upgraded. Like the electrical is crap. It's all wood. I'm just wait. It's like a match just waiting to be lit.
Just don't have any gender reveal parties in that room, please.
One thing I want to point out about this room, I wish I can give you guys a guided tour of this room. Some of you have been in this room. I know, Anthony, you have. This office is all wood.
Yeah.
Everything is wood. The walls,
Floor, ceiling,
or
walls.
like, but it's all different types of wood. So
Yeah.
the walls are different types of wood. The ceiling's a different type of wood. The floor is a different type of wood. The trimming's a different type of wood. The door, everything is a different type of wood. It's pretty incredible. I
feel
found
like-
out the owner.
I feel like we could have a
built it himself.
callback and have that fucking woodchuck come in and was like, "Is this room made of wood?" Fucking Full House. All right, I'm sorry. Go on. Your landlord or whoever.
This episode should be called the Wood Wars.
Wood Wars.
So getting into it. So obviously, guys, there was some big news. Today was the pre-order release of Xbox. I know you guys all woke
Which
up.
Xbox?
Xbox Series X. I know you guys have all woke up and got yourselves ready to pre-order so you can hit your refresh button exactly at 8 a.m. so you can pre-order your Xbox. So what did you guys do? Did you guys get it?
I got plenty of sleep.
Okay.
I got a
Yeah,
lot of good
I
sleep.
slept in.
So
Did you
guys-
get one, Jansen?
So, no, I didn't get one.
Wait, what? Wait,
I didn't.
wait, what?
Oh, no. Yeah. What?
Well, you know what? Actually, I probably would have impulse bought it. I decided last night that I wasn't gonna get it, and
Oh,
so I woke up this morning
this
though
is
because I wanted
interesting.
to.
Are you
I
okay?
wanted-
You feeling all right?
I am. I am.
Wait. Whether we're on episode 18 or 17, whatever it may be, prior to that, either 17 or 16 episodes prior to that, you were all Xbox. What's going on?
There's financial constraints that are going on because I decided to take money that was going to be used for the Xbox to buy a kid's comic book collection on Facebook. So I bought a comic book collection instead of getting an Xbox.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was a good good use of my funds. But I have a lot more comic books.
Okay. Well, let's be real. It's either comic books or the Xbox. Either one, you're not going to either read it or play it. So they're both just going to kind of sit there.
That's not true. I was buying comic books more to sell the comic books or to see what they like accumulate a collection and hopefully have some good books. And I was looking to buy like a collection because I thought it would be cool. I was hoping to find like some diamonds in the rough. There's a few good stuff in it, but overall, I will probably just make my money back on it. So it wasn't really. So in the long run, that's why I didn't buy the Xbox. But I did go online to see if I can get it. So I did the pre-order process, and I tried the Microsoft website. I had Amazon, I had Target, I had Best Buy open. I was on a wait list for GameStop that I never went through, and I got nowhere on it. Like I got it in my box on the Microsoft page, but then it wouldn't go to checkout. So I think it was more of like the universe telling me I don't need to buy it today. But I wasn't planning on, but I was seeing if I could get it because I wanted to see how the process went. And I heard it was terrible for like everybody.
Yeah, so much for Microsoft toting. It would be a much smoother process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I know. I did get some information that there weren't that many allocated to begin with at these stores. Some of the GameStop stores only got like 4 to reserve. So,
Well, but that was GameStop. They did that PlayStation as well.
Yeah.
Their allocations have been so small.
Well, that's true, but I don't know. I wasn't excited for this launch. Like I was in no rush. Like I said, I slept in, and woke up and I saw that some people on Facebook were either happy or, very few were upset that they either didn't get it or they didn't know about it. But I didn't really see much attention about it, at least not in my feed. Out of all my friends in my feeds, either Twitter or Facebook, didn't see a lot of disappointment over the Xbox.
Disappointed because they didn't try to pre-order it, or disappointment that
either one? I mean,
have it?
not much information really in general, whether they got it or not. In comparison to the PlayStation 5, and we'll touch on that in a little bit, but in comparison to that, there was just not a lot of stuff on my feed regarding the Xbox and the launch or the pre-order.
I think yesterday with the news, obviously, like of Xbox buying Bethesda, I thought there was a lot of. I thought the excitement level grew on my Twitter feed, with people, like that were interested, and I thought it might have moved the needle for some people to kind of be like, all right, maybe I'll get in. I don't know if like people getting in at launch, because I don't think that Bethesda purchase is going to affect anything at launch, and they've already announced that like it's not changing some of the exclusive titles that were for PS5. But I think I saw more excitement about it because of Bethesda news. I think that was pretty big news.
See, that was yesterday. The news yesterday was definitely huge.
Yeah,
and and I agree with you. There was a lot more news yesterday, but the whole when PlayStation did their pre-orders, and it was very unexpected. They did it right after their announcement.
Well, they didn't do it. That's the
Yes,
kicker. It
correct.
wasn't PlayStation. It was the
It was all the
retailers
retailers just went nuts.
after they opened up the floodgates. And that's where I think a lot of the disappointment came in, because unfortunately it wasn't Sony's call, even though I think a lot of people attributed it to Sony's fault. And I don't know if there was like a thing where Sony, like somebody from the group messed up and maybe released like allocation numbers before they were supposed to. Because it's interesting because Microsoft, none of the retailers opened up pre-orders early for Microsoft system.
No, they didn't.
So there had to have been some snafu with like somebody spitting out information too early, because I think that's probably why, like, well, I won't touch on it because you want to talk about the inside source. But that's probably why the inside source had a little knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But,
I'm not going to bring up this inside source.
but
I don't want to touch on this inside source.
I definitely want to touch on the whole Bethesda thing, because that was a huge surprise. Like the fact that they were keeping that under wraps so well, and that's something that I did see all over my feed yesterday. It was crazy. That's all I saw all day yesterday was that, and people even considering selling their pre-orders for their PlayStation 5 to jump over to Xbox. Not many people, but still, I did see some people considering it. Really? And I was like, really? That's not...
That's a little crazy.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if you want to jump on that, because, one, what's... Have we heard anything coming out of Bethesda anytime soon?
Well, no, that's what I was saying. Like, I think in the future, it's really good for Xbox to have Bethesda. But it's not changing launch titles.
No,
it's not
absolutely
changing
not.
anything for launch. Like everything that Bethesda had going is still happening for PS5 and like Xbox. It's later on down the road, which is going to make Xbox more appealing now, because they're going to get those exclusives that they've kind of been lacking. Like Anthony, you've mentioned before that, they lack like the exclusive content like that PlayStation has, like Spider-Man or whatever it is. Like God of War, but now they have that opportunity because they have that big publisher. They also have Obsidian. I wasn't surprised by it. I thought they were going to probably announce a big one, like a big studio purchase, just because that was kind of the direction they're leading, like with the purchase of all these other smaller studios. That eventually they're going to get to a big one that.
And that was a big one.
Yeah, that
was a really big one. And I agree with you. I think the future is bright for Xbox when it comes to Bethesda. I mean, fucking Fallout alone.
Yeah, but I mean, the last Fallout was not the quality previous iterations have been.
Fallout 4?
Correct? Are we talking about that one, or
you're not talking about
one that came out last?
That's the most recent one. Is 4, unless you want to consider the VR version, which I've never played. But
oh no, you're talking about the online version, Fallout 76 or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. So Fallout 4 came out. When did that come out again?
Oh Jesus, 2016, 2015.
Yeah, but that wasn't the newest one, right? It was this.
Yeah, well then Fallout 76, which was their online one.
Yeah.
That disappointed. At launch. Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah, they that Fallout disappointed at launch. I heard it's gotten better though. As they've like updated and stuff. But Fallout 4, man, my brother still plays that game. Like he still puts hours and hours into that game. So
yeah, maybe the proper sequel. You know, when that comes out, that'll be a big deal.
Well, it'll be interesting. Like Skyrim.
Skyrim.
Yeah, like, do they go exclusive? Like,
yeah, I think at that point they would, right?
They have to.
Yeah, they have to, right?
That's one thing that Xbox is really lacking. You mentioned it, is the exclusive games. Like
that you can't get anywhere else.
They have Gears of War, but I feel like Gears of War has definitely run its path. I think it's pretty much, you have your cult following at this point, but it's not a huge blockbuster. It's not a AAA title like it used to be anymore.
Yeah, and even it was
Halo.
that even happened what at this right after the second one. It happened early, right?
Yeah, that did kind of drop off really early. Halo, again, you didn't see that much excitement, and I'm not gonna trash Halo, but you didn't really see that much excitement for it in the most recent trailer.
Yeah.
So their exclusives are really lacking right now. And to acquire Bethesda this way and have that as exclusive, yeah, they definitely have to go exclusive. The only thing that I don't see going exclusive would probably be Elder Scrolls Online. I don't see them taking that away from PlayStation. That'd be a foolish move.
Yeah.
So
No.
other than that, yeah, dude, I definitely encourage them to go exclusive. Definitely.
Yeah. What do they? I mean, so yeah, you'd have Skyrim, you'd have Fallout, you'd have Doom, right?
Dishonored.
Dishonored.
Skyrim is Elder Scrolls though, right? So
Yeah,
any
Skyrim
iteration of
is
Elder
part of Elder
Scrolls.
Scrolls. Wolfenstein.
Oh, yeah. Holy cow.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Big news.
yeah, very very big news. Hats off to Xbox for making that move, but still not selling me on the console, not anytime soon. So we'll
I'm gonna,
see.
but I'll definitely purchase it later on. Like I said, I'm still gonna get two. This was just a decision that I made to not. I had to choose one, and I got. We're gonna talk about it right now. Like PlayStation's hype last week for the PlayStation reveal, and then the pre-orders. I was so hyped up that I got the PlayStation 5 over the Xbox.
And
But
I was gonna wait for you to say that because now I want to touch on the fact that you said you bought some comics and you couldn't get the Xbox. Not true. You got the PlayStation reserved, and that's why you didn't get the Xbox because you jumped the gun and you went straight to PlayStation and didn't wait out Xbox.
I was always gonna wait for the whatever one released first would be the one that I pre-ordered though, because I'm not gonna get caught. Because what if you lose out? Like if I would have gone for both, but if Xbox would have released last week, I probably would have pre-ordered Xbox first, and then due to I probably would have held off on the PlayStation. But
Ouch.
since PlayStation released first, then that's why I went with PlayStation over Xbox,
Okay.
and I was
Based
able to get
on
the PlayStation.
based on the showcase that PlayStation had, let's start talking about that, or let's get into that in just a little bit. But based on their showcase, and then based on whatever Xbox did previously to that, let's say Xbox did pre-order first and then PlayStation, and you got the Xbox. How happy would you be right now
If I got the Xbox
over the PlayStation?
over the
Say
PlayStation,
the situation was reversed. You ended up getting the Xbox because it launched before the PlayStation, and now you
Would not
couldn't
be
get a
happy.
PlayStation.
yeah, I probably wouldn't have been happy because there's more like the launch titles for PS5 are better that so far than the Xbox. So I would have been pretty, yeah.
Awesome. And with
Sure.
that said, let's fucking dive into that fucking showcase because
So
oh,
here's my thing. Why didn't play like the first PlayStation showcase was good, but this one opened up so much better. Like this one opened up with Final Fantasy and like what a open. You talked about this, Anthony. Like what a what an intro to the new PlayStation.
Yeah, like just the way they opened it up with exclusive that had never been seen or announced before, which normally doesn't happen, especially right at the beginning of a showcase.
mhm.
That was incredible, and it was just shocking, and it kind of just set the tone. I thought was really apparent, and then immediately diving into what they showed for Miles Morales, which was unbelievable. Which
Oh
is funny
yeah.
because we've seen a lot of these like big set pieces that games have been doing recently with Uncharted, with Call of Duty, and even God of War. Some of it has actually gotten kind of stale in the sense that you. It was weird with Spider-Man. There was a sense of energy and urgency that I had not felt in a long time with like a set piece like that in a video game, and it was just incredible. And I was like, it was like you. I was jonesed up. I was excited. I was like, I wasn't particularly interested in that game, but totally on board now.
Yeah. Oh man, the game looks incredible. I
Yeah.
can't wait for Finn to see it. Like I haven't shown him the trailer. I can't wait for him to play it and see it because he's gonna flip out. Uh, Yeah, it was really good. The Final Fantasy, I did what I found funny about the Final Fantasy thing though was that everything was off a PC and not the PS5, which I just thought that was funny because you're showcasing PS5, but you're showing the trailer from the PC version of your game, which
Yeah, which was kind of odd because I don't know if it was because, I mean, a lot of stuff is developed on PCs anyways first.
yeah,
So I don't know if it was the thing that it's just not ready to
you can let the dog
run
bark, man. Everybody knows
run
it.
off the PlayStation 5, or if it was because there's that thing where it's kind of almost a mix of Final Fantasy 15 and 14, and it's the same producers. So it's kind of I don't know. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. But maybe because also too it's still like pretty early in development.
Yeah. Either what say you about the opening, and obviously Final Fantasy and um.
I feel I've been very
Okay.
open with how upset I've been with Square Enix and what they've done beyond Final Fantasy X. I haven't been a big fan beyond that. Their game is just they've always lacked something, whether it be the gameplay, whether it be the story. Mainly in the story, I just couldn't get into any Final Fantasy beyond Final Fantasy X, and it was just hard for me to get into it. And most recently, I kind of got back into it because of Final Fantasy VII remake. So I
Yeah.
don't really consider that. I wouldn't count that. Although it was a completely different game, and I fucking loved it. But I felt like they really had to meet expectations with that game, and they did. They fucking exceeded my expectation. This is the first time I've been excited for a Final Fantasy game based on this trailer. It was fantastic. That opening, I wasn't too excited right off the bat. I was like, oh shit, this looks like Final Fantasy. But the deeper it got into the trailer, the gameplay I started seeing, even the acting and the story that I was hearing, and how they're using these summonses, whatever you want to call them, these GF summonses, avatars, the story behind all that, and just the feel of going back to the medieval time era. It felt so good to see that, and I'm excited for Final Fantasy again, and it feels good to be excited for Final Fantasy, and just everything that they showed in this trailer was fucking great. I think PlayStation started off strong with this, and then just to tease us with what they showed us, and then go into Spider-Man. Holy shit! One thing that I was talking to my girlfriend about was, and I'm telling you, I've been wanting to get on this show and talk to you guys because what they did with this showcase, everything that Xbox did prior to this is PlayStation just saying, leak whatever you want, all right? Because I still feel that Xbox used that as a strategy. I think they purposely leak stuff. I think it's too coincidental. I think this was PlayStation. I was worried that PlayStation didn't know what to do with all these leaks that Xbox had. But no, they came out firing. And not only that, they showed their confidence in their console. These are the games we're putting out. This is how much confidence we have in our console, to the point where this is the fucking price and we're sticking to it. And we're not going to try to meet a $300 price point that Xbox put out. No, we're confident in what our console has. We're confident in our games. Here's what they are. And they sold me. I mean, I was already sold, and I had already told you guys I was going to get the PlayStation 5 over the Xbox. But this 100% sold me because I saw nothing but confidence in this showcase. So very, very happy with what PlayStation did. Very, very happy with what they showed us. Wasn't very happy with the way pre-orders were handled, but to Anthony's point, was not their fault. That was all retailers trying to jump the gun on that. But overall, I'm glad I stuck with PlayStation. I'm glad I stayed loyal, and I went a little bit on a rant there, but yeah, I'm thrilled, dude.
Did you play 15
I did
and
not. No,
14?
no.
I
You should
played
definitely
14 for
give
a little
both
bit.
of those a try.
All
Like
right.
14 has gotten a lot better, and it's 15.
14 is the online one, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. I did play 14. I played 14 for a good year. I did enjoy it. Very, very much
I'll say
enjoyed
it's
it,
like,
but I
yeah, I
couldn't.
want to actually play it.
It's one of
I
those things. It's like I've mentioned before. I just really can't get into MMOs because it just turns into a job eventually, and that's when it loses its appeal. It's not fun anymore. So once it turns into a job where I'm up at 2 a.m. and then somebody's telling you, it's like, oh, I'm close to leveling up, but it takes another hour till they level up. And if you bail on them, you're an asshole. And then they start thinking about not letting you join in their raids anymore because you ditched them the other night. When it gets to that point, I'm out. That's why I can't do MMOs. But Final Fantasy 14, I played it for a good year. I had some fun. I just tried to stay away from MMOs.
I actually thought like the price point for PlayStation was really good too, like because for $100 more from the cheap version, you're getting the same model, right? It's just the drive's not included.
Yeah.
Yeah, the specs are exactly the same.
The specs are
sans
exactly the same.
Optical drive.
Now, granted, like the Xbox X or Series S is what, $200 cheaper than the actual model, because it's $299, right? But you're still getting a downgraded version. It's still like a next-gen console, but it's still downgraded. For $300, $100 more, you can get the PS5. So I think the price point was really good for Xbox, or not for Xbox, but for PlayStation. I think they priced it very reasonable.
Yeah.
And that's the version I got. I got the digital version.
I got the disc drive version. I got the disc drive version mainly because I want to be able to play my PlayStation 4 games. So I want to be able to pop them in and be able to play those. So that's why I went with the disc drive. And yeah, an additional $100 for the disc drive version. I had no issues with that. I thought it was fine. I thought it was reasonable, and that's what I ended up going with.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play. Please, I was thinking about getting a disc drive just because I like having like that version, but then I just got to the point where I was just thinking like, am I really gonna play PS4 games on it? No, I'm probably not gonna play PS5 games on it. So what's the point?
Yeah, my prediction was so close. I was a week off, but the price points were exactly what I thought.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you were dead on.
You're dead on.
What was interesting is the only thing I was still wondering about is what Bill mentioned about the hard drive. If the digital was going to have a larger hard drive, and that's what's interesting about the Series S is the Series S has a smaller hard drive as well.
Small hard drive, yeah.
And it has like the biggest difference is the drop in the GPU. Yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. I'll tell you what though, that pre-order was just a pain in the ass. But again, this is the thing I don't get. Like, and I think it's just because of the technical limitations. Because even if you had a robust server infrastructure, it's still limited by the data coming into it. But I feel like these retailers, it's 2020, should have a better system in place for these fucking launches. Like, it's just, I spent hours doing that refresh and it sucked too because I thought too it was going to be released, like the pre-orders were going to open up tomorrow, the next day. So I'd actually fallen asleep. And then I woke up and I saw that Best Buy had like opened up pre-orders, and I had already like prepared everything in my Best Buy account, so I was kind of ready. But seriously, I spent until I think I finally got one around 1 a.m.
Oh crap.
Because I kept going in. I got all the way to the point where I could place the order. It was in my cart, and I got to it, saw like it did the checkout, and I placed my order, but it would never complete the order. And it was literally like sitting there refreshing. And it just, and also too, when I first started, things were changing on the website. So you could tell that they were setting things up. They were like, okay, this image is coming in. Now we're making this block. They were changing it up. So they were literally doing work on it. But that's what I don't understand. It's like, how are you doing work on it, but have the pre-orders like open? Like, it's so frustrating at these retailers, their infrastructure, but it's probably because in my experience with companies and their infrastructures, they don't put the time, the money, and the effort into building a proper infrastructure. I guess if it was Google would be like, this is the infrastructure that's going to handle this load. We know what's going to happen. We're going to set up a queue properly.
I don't know, because you still have the issue with like Amazon and stuff like that. You'd think Amazon would be able to take
That's
like
true.
I think that it's is it like the cost analysis. PS5, Xbox comes out every 6 years to redo the infrastructure to like some level is who knows how many millions of dollars. I don't know if at the end of the day if it's worth it for them. They're probably looking at it from like
That they don't care.
the ROI. Like, is it worth taking the heat for the system going down? Like, yeah, I don't know if it's actually worth it for them to spend the money for the infrastructure. Like when rarely do you have products like this that you have such a mass, or it's like like I don't know for sure, but
I just
I
feel
feel
like
like
there's
it's
got to
super
like
expensive. So
it's got to be like Sony and Microsoft saying like they've got to come up with a better system. Like it seemed like Sony had the opportunity. You could sign up on the website, and then they would send you an invitation. But even then, it seems stupid because it's still like a first come first serve. You're still fighting against
it,
servers. Why can't they just say like sign up? We will send you the link to buy one, and you're fine. You don't have to
because
sit there for hours and try to like be in a queue that will never refresh.
I don't know, man. When I was Comic-Con, that's every year for Comic-Con when the tickets go on sale. They know the issues. They try like they're a group that has tried to invest heavily in their online ticket sales process. But every year, no matter what, there's always an issue.
It's
Yeah,
Too much
it's
it's
also
demand.
it's also just it's a marketing move too, because they know people are going to be upset and they're going to be talking about it on social media, whether you get one or you don't. They want all that attention, even if it's negative, they still want the attention because there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? So if you're on social media complaining that you didn't get a pre-order, you're one of how many, I don't know how many people complaining, and that's all you see on your feed is, oh, I didn't get one, I didn't get one. But
Yeah,
you're constantly seeing PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5, and you know, uh,
and those people aren't gonna not buy PS5 because
yeah,
they
they're
didn't
still
get
gonna
one.
get it, no matter how pissed off
Yeah,
they are. They're still gonna end up getting it when they become available again.
yeah.
what's frustrating is the fucking flippers, man. Like, don't buy the system if you're not gonna like buying it to use it.
Now, I mean,
Like the
real quick, sorry to interrupt you. I definitely agree, but I want to touch on something because of flippers. The emails that PlayStation sent out, I'm very shocked, but I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends on Facebook, at first, they were all like, I'm trying to get a PlayStation 5, or, oh, I got lucky, I got it at GameStop, or I got it at Walmart, or Target, what name you. And then later, maybe like the next day, actually, the very next day, PlayStation did good on those emails. They actually sent out emails to people, and a lot of my friends, including myself, got an email that, we can go reserve a PlayStation 5. But I passed up on it because I already have one. I'm not going to be that guy that's going to go and try to collect another one. And, maybe I should have for a friend, but I just didn't want to deal with that. A lot of people I did see online claim them. They went from struggling to find one to suddenly the next day, now they have three or four. So now we got flippers on the market looking to flip these PlayStations because I don't know how they went around it, but they ended up getting more than one, and it seemed to be much easier this year to get more than one console based on how everything worked out. It's
I mean,
weird, but
there's
it's
still ways you can order through different like different companies
well,
and
how
stuff
do
like
you mean
that.
because they just signed up through like okay, we'll go through a different ID. Maybe they had a friend like, oh,
that's
I'm
what
not
I
gonna
would like
want
to
it.
know. Yeah, that's what I would like to know. But Bill, for example, Bill reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I got selected number 3." Bill got selected number 3. It even said in the email, "This is, you're getting the number 3 fucking pre-order. You're number 3 in line." And he got that email,
Well, I
and
think the third wave, right?
oh, I don't
Yeah.
know if it was waves. Well, I know it was going on in waves, so that's probably what it was.
Like,
But Bill did the right thing. He passed it off to his friend. He's like, "Hey, I got it." And then his friends are like, "Oh, I got the email too." I was like, "Oh shit!" So now they both got a PlayStation 5, and they already had it reserved at another retail store prior. So
See, this is what I'm saying.
I'm
This
looking
is what
on
I'm saying.
eBay right now, just so you guys know.
Yeah, how many listings? 2,500?
I mean, they're all over the place.
no,
Like, it's 1,500. Like most of them are going like $900,
No, not the
1,500.
price, but the listings. How many listings?
Oh, I'm gonna check. Well, just so you know, 2,496 PS5s have been sold, apparently, if I go to the sold.
Yeah, because people couldn't find it or couldn't get the fucking order in because of the
Yeah, there's 1,603 listings up. I don't know if they're all PS5, they might be like controllers or something, but yeah, that's crazy. There's one that's on here that has 57 bids and it's $15,000, and I'm like, what is this, the gold version? Like there's a version underneath it. There's one that you could buy now for 2,500 bucks. Like, why would you bid 15,000 when there's so many more that are cheaper than that? Like, there's 39 people watching a PlayStation 5 that's $50,000. 39 people are
Here's the thing
watching
that
that.
I'm it's interesting. Why doesn't then it just go directly from Sony or from Microsoft? Because
Well,
the margins on like the retailers aren't making a lot of money on the
no,
systems. So it's
no,
like
but
why
what
aren't
they're
they go ahead, sorry.
oh, go ahead. You could
No, just it's like why isn't they just selling them directly? Because then you could do it. It's like, okay, sign up, send your ID, and then here's a link. Here's a link to purchase it. You have X amount of time to buy it. You know, give them like 24 hours or even less than that. And then you buy it and you're good. And then it's done. And then you don't have to worry about searching for it or running, and then somebody's getting it. And also, too, you can then can control that it's only going to one address. And then say,
yeah,
oh,
but
this is our
I was gonna say that, but Sony and Xbox, they have to think of their retailers.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause their
absolutely.
retailers sell their games, their retailers sell their accessories, their retailers sell everything, and so that's why they give them like that's why the retailers sell, because it's not just there's not high margins on it, obviously from a retailer standpoint, but it's everybody that's clicking that is also buying the extra controller, is also buying like whatever accessory that's in it. It's also in their shopping carts.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of like comic books. Like, why do comic companies have to? Why don't they just sell all their comics directly on their website? Why go through retailers? Same thing. It's because the retailers are the ones that support them.
Let me ask you guys. You
better
guys have
way,
In
any?
your
man.
face,
Better
man.
way. There's a better way.
You guys have
It's not,
any?
and it's certainly not this.
Yeah, no. This was a
Because
mess.
I didn't get an email. I signed up. I didn't get my dad signed up. Didn't get an email.
I didn't get an email, but
So
that
it's
might
like,
be
who
because I
got
didn't like
why?
it.
What
See,
was
I
the
would
criteria
like.
for
I
being
would. Yeah,
selected?
exactly. I would like to know what that criteria was. I
Could have
would
just been
really like
random,
to know.
guys. It could literally just be random selection. I would actually prefer if it was random, because then it's not like it's based off of like how much time you spent in your X, like PS5, or how much time you spent on your Xbox. Like, I like the idea that it's random. So
I don't, because it's like, why give it to the people then? Like, there
because
should be a
those
little bit
people are
of
gonna
like,
buy it no matter what.
I think fairly. I think they should base it on your gamer tag and how long it's been active.
Nope, I don't think that's
I
even
think
true.
that's what they should do.
No,
Not how often you play, just how long your gamer tag has been consistently active.
no. Um, so there's also some lesser tech news on the Nintendo front. I don't really know this news, but you guys feel free to.
I'll let you touch on this one, Anthony. I wasn't a big fan of handheld, so
well, it's. I think it was more surprising that it took as long as it did. So the Nintendo 3DS has officially discontinued production. So Nintendo's
Oh,
no
that
longer
sucks.
making the 3DS handheld system. Officially done. What's interesting is it was going as long as it did because the Nintendo Switch has now been on the market for over a year, right? Or longer, almost
oh, it's
two.
been much longer than that.
Oh, it's like 2 years, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, two
So I'm
and a half
2.5 years.
years.
surprised that
Yeah.
the 3DS didn't get discontinued much earlier.
Well,
But
I was
it
kind of
makes
like I was talking to you when
sense.
you.
So, sorry, you're talking?
Oh no, I was saying when we were talking yesterday, I brought up the same thing. Like, I didn't realize that 3DS was still around. So
Yeah.
go ahead. There.
But no, it's just like the writing was on the wall as soon as, well, I thought as soon as the Switch was released, but definitely when the Switch Lite came out,
Yeah.
that there's no reason for the 3DS anymore. But yeah, that got discontinued.
Now, can you port, or all the 3DS games, can they port over to Switch?
It's Nintendo, man. They port everything. Absolutely.
No, I don't know. That's what, like, are they all? I didn't know that I think I have some like 3DS
I'm sure.
games
I'm
in
sure
there,
there's some
or,
games
like,
that.
Fire Emblem.
I'm sure there's some games that might not be able to be ported over because they only function well on the 3DS. But the majority of them, I'm sure they'll always be ported over. I mean, one of the games I'm playing mostly right now is Phoenix Wright. That's a Nintendo DS or 3DS title.
Yeah.
So that one ported over well.
I was just curious if they've ported over all of them before they discontinued it, like, so people can just play exactly.
Oh no. There's a crap ton of games that have not been touched yet.
Yeah, that's what, like, I didn't feel like there's a lot of games ported over yet.
Yeah.
But Nintendo's still not done with handhelds. That's pretty much the only Nintendo news.
Oh.
But yeah, they're discontinuing the 3DS, but they recently announced that Game & Watch, so they're putting that out. So
yeah,
no, they're not done with handhelds. They're still not just focusing on the Switch. So
a crappier version of the 3DS is coming out.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Nintendo's next iteration is of console/handheld.
I mean, it's gonna have to be similar to, like, Switch, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I don't know, like, yeah, I don't, yeah, it'd have to be very similar to it.
Yeah, it's almost like the best of both
There's no
worlds. It's like,
competition.
where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Thinner.
Yeah, just make it better.
That's how they're gonna go, man.
Make it better.
The Switch is gonna eventually be a phone. That's what's gonna happen.
Do you think the Switch will ever have ray tracing capability?
Fuck. They'll be way behind before they do that.
All right, so that took up most of our episode. No, I'm joking.
Gaming usually does, man.
Moving away from video games for a change.
How dare you?
In other news, I was more excited about this than I think either of you guys were. This was like 2 weeks ago, yeah, but DC Comics announced DC Infinite, which is their online, like, Netflix for comics. So they kind of announced launching in 2021 their version of, like, Marvel has Marvel Unlimited, where you can log in and you can read, like, a huge crap ton of comics, and they constantly update it. New issues, I think, like, every once a comic hits 6 months, it's being released on Marvel Unlimited. I don't know what that is going to be like for DC, but I'm pretty excited because I kind of forgot, like, everybody remembers, like, DC Universe. I don't know if anybody bought DC Universe, their OTT or their, like, Netflix channel they did. Anybody ever get that? Anthony? No?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Well, I did.
I heard about it, but I didn't sign up for it.
Yeah, I know about it too.
Yeah, it was.
You know, I felt the same way Robin did. Fuck Batman at that point.
Yeah. Well, when it launched, like, it had some pretty decent titles on it, most, like, the Batman movies and stuff like that. But then they slowly lost all those. So then, like, towards the end, it was literally just their original series. But they had their comic, like, DC Universe also had the comics on there as well. And so it's nice to see that they're moving online to, like, the Marvel Unlimited, because Anthony got me Marvel Unlimited subscription for my birthday, and it is such a good buy. It's totally worth it for, like, I think it's $69.99 a year, and
okay.
yeah, it's unlimited comics, or, like, all their back catalog, and it's new stuff every 6 months. I'm so far behind, so it's always new to me. So it's not like it's, but I can't wait for DC, because when, like, growing up, like, I was always a Marvel kid, so I read Batman, but I'm so not in the know on DC Comics, and I'd love to be able to go back, and I'm looking forward to going back and reading some of the DC universe.
Now, it's safe to say that you used to spend way more than $69.99 a year for comics, right?
I used to spend more than $69.99 a week on comic books.
There you go. So that alone is worth the price and an easier way to get into comics. Really, it's just, I'm sure you could just get on your phone, right?
Yeah, and it's also like a really great gift. like
Yeah.
like I never know what to get my brother for Christmas or something. Now it's like I could just get him a year subscription to like Marvel Unlimited or DC Infinite,
And
and
they have their
there you go.
backlog and everything.
Yeah, so it's so I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it to come out. And yeah, so it's really cool that they're doing it, or they're finally doing it in like a larger way. Um,
So now we're just continuing to be overwhelmed with subscription services, another subscription service.
Yeah,
yeah,
That's where
true,
that's where we're heading. Everything's digital. Everything's a subscription service, and
but
it's
it's
really interesting because it kind of goes back a little bit to the retailer thing because stores are closing. Sales have been fluctuating for years, right? You know, so at what point is it where you don't need a physical space anymore?
for what? For comic books, or are we talking
Just
about
for
in general?
most stuff,
anything
most
really.
content,
I
like
Yeah.
was gonna
games,
say,
comics, books, movies. I mean, that's what we were just talking about the exhibitors. The exhibitors are dealing with the fallout of this like weird kind of almost like pre-transition stage or transition stage where now it's like that's kind of like it's like why doesn't Sony just cut out the middleman like the way Disney and all these other content producers are almost doing to the theater exhibitors because your direct pipe now is the person's home or well really the device.
Hmm.
You know, like everything is accessible through the device. You're connecting to the person directly without any sort of. I
I,
mean, television has been going through that for years now.
well, I
With
think it's like that's not. I don't think. I think it's going in that direction, but I don't think it's at that point where they can cut that person off because it is still a huge chunk of their income, um, is coming through like retail stores. So I think until they start seeing more like a bigger shift, like a bigger percentage, then they might consider like cutting the middleman out. Um, but like for something like comic books, I don't know why. Like maybe like even in like there's something about comic books, and maybe that's just me thinking like wishful thinking that comic book stores are never going to go away because I want to open up a physical comic book store. Like that's my dream. So maybe it's just me thinking that that's not. But I don't see people like I like reading digital comics. Like I'll go back through because I can't buy like all the Marvel catalog. I'm not going to be able to buy it. I can't store it. But it's not going to stop me from buying comic books, like physical comic books, and going to the store once I can actually go back to the store. Um, I don't know. There's something about it. But then again, I thought the same thing for books, and look what happened. So, but either way, the good thing that DC's doing it. So,
No, I agree. I'm considering it. I want to get back into reading comics, and I just didn't have the time to do it physically.
cool.
So
I'm excited about that because I think we should be talking more about comic books.
we should. Honestly, we should. We cover a lot of gaming, and definitely cover more gaming, and we touch on shows and movies sometimes. But
I feel like
comics get no love.
they do, and I don't know, like, yeah, maybe it's maybe it's you discovering comic books. That's how we're gonna start diving more into the comic book
Yeah,
topic.
I'm game for that.
But
I mean,
moving on,
my birthday passed already, but you know.
was it recent? How long ago? I'm terrible with birthdays. I hope it wasn't like a week ago or something like that.
No, it was back in June. You missed it
Okay,
then.
good. Yeah. I probably hit you up on Facebook. Maybe.
Because Facebook reminded you.
Literally, that's the only reason I have Facebook is because it reminds me of people's birthdays. I would not know people's birthdays if I did not have Facebook.
Same here. I mean, I remember the days I used to remember phone numbers. Ask me how many phone numbers I know now at the top of my head.
I know two.
There you go. I know my
I know
own.
my wife. And I know Nathan and Heidi's. Nathan and Aaron's mom. Moving on because there's other news. We're gonna briefly the Mulan estimates came out, and we're just gonna touch on this because we've talked about this multiple times. And like loose estimates, I don't think there's any like hard numbers, but I forgot what website it is, released that I think like 9 million people paid for it in that first weekend. Or that's kind of like their estimate. And that would put it at $30, would put it at $270 million that they made in that one weekend. Which, actually, I don't know if it was a weekend or a week. Do you remember that? If I can't remember the article.
Yeah, I think it was the week, right? Because the article that came out
Yeah,
about a week or a week and a half, 2 weeks after the movie had been
because if it was
released.
a week, that is a solid movie for a week after being out. Like you figure opening weekend maybe like 150 on it, and then so if it was just the first week and it made $270 million, that is a very solid.
Yeah, no, I think in that same article they mentioned that Disney was actually very pleased with the performance of it.
Yeah,
They were just more they were more disappointed with the reaction at the box office from China
yeah,
because
China.
because
they were really hoping that was going to be a much stronger uh, pull
yeah,
for the film. But it's, I mean, they're already looking at closing it up, taking it out of exhibition over
yeah.
there.
Because they also announced that like Tenet, so technically it made more money than Tenet
Yeah.
released at the box office.
Wow.
So in that same time period, it made more money. Now
I mean,
Tenet
but are
has
we
like
are we really surprised about that though? I mean, all three of us here, none of us want to go to the theater.
no, yes, what yeah. I just think that it was a
Yeah, but I
gamble that
don't I
Disney.
don't think we're a majority, right? I think there's still so many people that want to go out, right?
I think
I
people
mean,
want to go out, but not necessarily to the movies.
yeah.
I think
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
people want to be
problem. Yeah, I
outside,
think
and
I,
I
I
think
definitely
Tenet kind
agree.
of showed that people still aren't ready to get into the movies.
No.
Like they're still not ready to go to the movie theaters. Now, I, I I'm curious to see like once Tenet finally does release online on demand, like what it makes because it's going to be all those built up people that didn't want to go that still want to see the movie. So I'm curious to see if it makes like a boatload of money online once it's finally released because like I for one would watch it. I know you guys would watch it. Um, Depending on what the price point is. But I would not pay $30 to watch it right now. So if they were to say like, "Oh, I'm going online now for $30," like Disney did, or 25, I would not pay. Like now I'm down to like $8 because I feel in my mind, I already feel like, oh, it's already went to the seat, like it already went to the theaters, so now it needs to go down to the normal rental fee. And that was a
Gotcha.
mistake.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was to me, that was a
Hmm.
mistake you made. Like you made because you wanted to release in movie theaters and you didn't want to get like the majority of people like being able to watch it like Mulan and pay a
Hmm.
premium. So now I'm not going to pay $30 to watch your film when it finally does because you made the choice. And now I feel like it should be a normal rental price.
Yeah, I agree. I here.
Yes. What say you, Anthony?
I don't know because I think we are in that weird space because I think part of it is, yeah, part of it is marketing, part of it is timing. I think I think yeah, you're spot on in the sense of timing. If we're saying like this movie's coming out VOD, if they did a VOD and theater, I think that would probably play a lot better. It's like, okay, you can buy it for 29 or rent it for 29 at the same time that it was released in theaters.
And
Or even if it was like a couple weeks after. But now it's going to be like months. Yeah, I can understand because yeah, there's that sense where we are used to a certain schedule. Like,
yeah,
okay, it comes out in theaters, then it goes to rental, and then it might get streamed for free on one of the stations later.
yeah,
But I think that's the problem. I think the studios are still trying to figure out they're still trying to figure out how they get the most bang for their buck to recoup the cost of the films that traditionally they would recoup at the theater.
mhm.
But it almost kind of makes you think too if like they have to rethink of how much money they're spending on these tentpole
I
movies.
was actually gonna want. I'm curious, like, depending on how this changes, like, if this kind of changes the fee structure or like production costs. Like,
Yeah.
does it change actors' salaries? Does it change, like, because now there's not as much money involved in it, or they're not making as much money? I'm curious, yeah, like how that changes. They're already having to change the way they shoot films just because of like social distancing rules and stuff like that. So a lot of like these movies filming now have to like rethink the way they shoot because they can't have 50 people on a crowded street or something like that. Um, So I'll be curious. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how.
Or even like what happened with Mission Impossible. They where were they shooting in Venice? The city itself couldn't handle
Hmm.
like a crew coming in for 3 weeks,
Yeah,
a casting crew and all this equipment and all this stuff. They were shut down. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they change, like you said, the price structure, but then timing. I think that's a big thing. They don't know what the price is still, or what the best price is, and I don't think there is, because I think part of it is too is like they're still trying to figure out the timing, and I think that's a big component. It'd be really interesting to hear in on some of these meetings of them like trying to figure this out, and then also too taking some of these figures already that they've seen a little bit and trying to determine, okay, when do we release, or
yeah.
do we start just going all in on digital?
I like $25. I think $25 is a good solid number.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Bill and Ted was, right? You
Yeah.
buy it for 25,
Or
or you could rent it for 20.
Yeah, I think it's a good. And I always think, yeah. Cool. Moving on. Let's go talk a little television. Mandalorian. We have some trailers that just came out.
Hmm.
Mandalorian season 2 trailer came out. I'm pretty excited about Mandalorian season 2, with all like the stuff like Ahsoka Tano coming into play, and yeah, the way it ended, season 1 ended. I'm looking forward to it. That's coming out in October, and the trailer was pretty cool.
Yes, agree. Agree. This trailer looks damn
Yeah, they're
good.
super talkative.
No, I'm lost in the trailer. I'm sorry. I'm over here playing the trailer. You guys can't see it because we have a new setup today. We're not streaming live, so you don't get to watch it on your phones. But no, the trailer looked good. I'm excited for it. I'm stoked that it's we're less than a month away, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
no, it's October
No, it's a
30th.
little over a month because
okay,
it's
a
the
little over a
30th.
month. So yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. This looks good. Definitely
I
stepped up
just,
the production value.
well, yeah, and that was what was really interesting is their tech. That's I think also too. I think that the tech that Mandalorian is using, I think is going to be a big. You're going to see a lot more. Like, well, whatchamacallit, the new Thor movie is going to be implementing a lot of it.
It's the Unreal Engine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't they using the
Yep.
Unreal Engine?
Hmm.
Yeah. There's actually I was looking I always get like notices on um like school programs and stuff like that, and there's actually like a software program that Disney puts, like Lucasfilm puts you through, that essentially trains you on this new like software to use
Yeah.
in film production. And so
It's
it's
going to
like
be big.
something that you apply for, and it's almost like a job. It's like an internship or like a trade, essentially, and they put you through this training program for Lucasfilm on the new software they're using for like Mandalorian, for Thor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy that's Unreal Engine, and that yeah, it's neat. It's gonna be it's cool.
Just hope they do my boy Bubba Fett right.
Yeah, I was actually hoping that it wasn't Boba Fett. I was hoping it was like Captain Rex or someone from like the Clone Wars too. Like I think that'd be
You
really
shut
cool.
your mouth.
No, like Boba Fett is cool, but I think like the clone trooper, like Captain Rex, and
What's cool about Boba Fett?
I don't know, he's cool. He's a bounty
We've
hunter.
seen nothing of Boba Fett yet, officially. Like, I can't wait to see what we get out of Boba Fett because
He's a bounty hunter.
I
Like
know
that's
he
all
is,
really
but we haven't
about.
really seen much of Boba Fett. We really haven't. Let's be real. So I'm excited to see who Boba Fett really is. I'm finally excited to
That
see
is
what he's all about.
he's mysterious.
Oh God.
You know that he's a former clone now, so he was like he was a clone trooper. Well, not a clone trooper, but he was a clone. I don't know.
I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas, Caesar.
Oh
Yeah.
Ooh, this is good. What are you
yeah.
gonna get him? Are you gonna share it, or are you
The
gonna?
uh the uh extended, I have to look up the name again. But the Boba Fett trilogy, the extended universe
Oh.
books.
Okay.
Amazing, because it essentially, and this is what was cool, was it was essentially right after he was in the Sarlacc pit, and what happened, how he got out,
Mm-hmm.
and basically other adventures after that. And it's incredible. I think this is one of the key reasons why. But and also too, he's kind of like Jansen said that it's like there's still a mystery about Boba Fett. He's almost like this legend that is still just whispered in corners of the galaxy, and he's and then now, like you said, we know that he is the son of Jango.
Jango
There's
Fett,
like that tie
Django.
that everybody
which
wants to.
I like more the idea that he's the clone, which is I think cool. I just love clones. But that's why I also wanted him to be Captain Rex. Like when they announced him as coming back, and not before they said it was Boba Fett, I was like, oh, it's gonna be Captain Rex because Ahsoka Tano is in it. But I haven't watched Star Wars Rebels completely, so I don't know if Rex died.
Jeez.
But so yeah, that came out, and then obviously yesterday released WandaVision trailer, which is the official first Marvel TV series since the Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier got pushed back. Now WandaVision is the official first. What did you guys think of that trailer?
I don't exactly. That was my reaction to it. It's like I don't know what I think of it. I'm excited to see these two on the screen again. I'm excited to kind of dive back into the Marvel universe. I've missed it. We've been lacking and in these characters, and that's good that we get to see them again. But I'm very confused by what I've seen in the trailer. But I'm happy, if that makes sense. It's just a little confusing. I don't know what I'm looking at, but it looks fun. It looks like a fun watch.
Yeah, it looks trippy. That's why I like it. It looks weird, and it looks like it's gonna have this weird. I'm curious to see, like, obviously when they built the trailer, they put like all this weirdness and kind of like psychedelic type. Like, what am I watching in the trailer? I'm curious how that translates to the actual series. Like, are we seeing like the majority of that in just the trailer, but that's spread out over like 10 episodes? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a ton of it. It's just they condensed it all because they just kind of wanted to blow people's minds on what they're doing. But I think it's going to be. I'm excited for it because the production value looks great.
It looks fantastic. It doesn't stand out. It looks like it's part of the universe. That's a great. Like, you can tell the difference from watching a Marvel movie and then going into Agents of Shield. You can tell. You can tell the difference. It's a big difference. And here, it just looks like it's part of the universe, and I'm loving it. But again, just very, very trippy and very, very strange about what's going on. It looks like they don't even know what's going on, which is great. So maybe we're all going to be discovering it all together.
Yeah, I like the throwbacks.
Love that.
Costumes.
Love that.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I don't know. I feel like Anthony's watching something.
No, I was trying to find that book for Caesar. I'll find it. It was the same thing. I thought, it didn't show a lot, but I'm obviously will still watch it. But I hope it's one of those things where the trailer didn't do it really justice.
But did you not like the trailer?
I just didn't think it was as I didn't have the same energy. I didn't have the feels when I watched it. Yeah. But I've experienced that a lot this year, where I've seen first and second trailers, or even like the first couple or the first trailer, and it just didn't really turn me on. But then subsequent trailers were actually much better.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this is just one of those cases, because even the Mandalorian season 2 trailer was okay, but I was weird. I didn't feel as excited about it as I thought I would.
Well, I mean, I thought I'm excited about the series coming out. I agree. I don't think the trailer was anything special, but I also don't think they're gonna show like all the cool stuff in the trailer. Like, they're not.
Well, that plus also too, there was a thing that came out the other day, or may have been today, about there's really somebody from the cast said that there really isn't going to be answers to major things until season 3 and 4.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm a little. That's also too. Might have like a little concern or worry that it's going to be still a little bit more like breadcrumbs, and there might be like there won't be like a Game of Thrones thing where it's like you watch the season and it's like, oh, it seemed like nothing happened in that season.
Yeah.
And then there was a big cliffhanger, and it's like, oh shit, now we have to wait till season 3 to find out that nothing happens again.
I'm hoping they make the episodes a little bit longer.
Do you guys have any theories on what might be happening in this show? Like what's going on based on what we've seen in the trailer?
I think Boba Fett's gonna hunt down Mando. That's what I think's gonna happen.
I'm talking about WandaVision, fool.
Oh, I'm talking about.
Jesus.
And I also think that he's taken Baby Yoda to Ahsoka. That's kind of like
That's another thing. And I agree with Anthony. It's not Baby Yoda.
I don't care.
The child.
I don't care. It's Baby Yoda because
he cannot be. Yoda is not alive.
I know that he's not Baby Yoda. I know that it's not Baby Yoda. I'm just saying everybody's just calling it Baby Yoda, so I'm just gonna call it Baby Yoda because I'm not gonna call it the child. Like.
That's what he is. That's what they're all referring as. So.
In the show, but you can't just walk around like, oh man, did you see that child of the child? Like, oh my god.
Isn't that child cute?
So cute?
It does sound weird.
No, yeah.
If you're out in the open and you're like, man, that's a cute child right there.
Yeah. Yeah, like, oh man, that's a cute Baby Yoda. Like, yeah, it's very different. You can't say that's a cute child.
Why don't they call it Baby Yaddle? Why does it got to be a boy, huh?
Baby what?
Baby Yaddle. The female Yoda.
Oh. Because they're referring to. Never mind.
Yeah.
Jesus.
See?
Anyway,
See?
that's our news, guys. That's our topics of news, I think, unless we had more.
But that's pretty it. That's pretty much it.
So, moving on, because there's some rediscovery happening. Last week we were supposed to discuss this. I'm looking at it's the 19th anniversary of Gamecube, and before we got on this call, I was like, why were we celebrating the 19th anniversary of Gamecube?
Was it 19? I thought it was 20.
He said it was 2001, right?
2001, September 14th, 2001.
Yeah. So.
No, I think was that right? Was it the U.S. release or the Japanese release?
Japanese release.
I thought it was. Oh, okay. Because I don't know why we would have celebrated. So last week, if you guys were tuning in last week, we were going to celebrate the anniversary of GameCube. But then after looking at it today, I was like, it's the 19th anniversary. I don't understand why we're celebrating it.
Well, it's not necessarily that we're celebrating a 20-year or a 19-year. It was just a fact. This is what happened this week in gaming. The GameCube happened to release 19 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
That's
it
was
on September 14th.
Yeah. So we were touching on what happened that week.
It's just like, it's kind of an interesting thing. So I'll let you guys, I personally didn't own a GameCube. So I played it. I played it at friends' houses. But, so you guys talk amongst yourselves.
No, well, I'm excited when I saw this anniversary. Yeah, 19 years anniversary. I was excited because I think the GameCube is Nintendo's most underrated console. Honestly, I really do. I don't think it got the love that it deserved. I think it's their Dreamcast. And
I was just gonna say that, dude.
And
I think it got more love than the Dreamcast.
No, it did. But I'm saying in comparison to all their other consoles, I think this is their Dreamcast. It didn't get the appreciation it deserved.
Yeah.
And it had some fucking hits. You know, just to touch on one major hit that eventually came out on the Wii, it came out on other consoles. They ported this title over and over and over again, was Resident Evil 4. It originally launched on the GameCube. Not a lot of people know that. But yeah, it was originally on the GameCube. Fuck, that game was great, man. That game was great. And a lot of the games that were on GameCube were fantastic. I think the FGC, Melee is still considered the Smash Brothers.
The Smash Brothers.
And that was on the GameCube. See, and still to this day, whether you have a Wii U or if you have a Switch, the only way to play Smash Brothers, whether it be the Melee version or the newest version, GameCube controller. That's the best way to play Smash Brothers. So even that controller was fantastic, man. I love the controller. I'm showing a picture of the Wavebird now, which is their wireless controller. And that came out much later. But still, the buttons, the way that controller handled, the way it felt, it just felt good. But I'm taking too much time. Anthony, jump in whenever you can, because I don't want to hog up all these games. But yeah, they had some great titles.
Yeah, it was a nice little system. Like you said, there were so many good ones that, yeah, so many good ones.
Are you gonna name
Yeah,
it?
and I remember too the first time. Well, it was crazy too because I ended up. That was also too about the time when I was really into my import phase. I got the Panasonic Q
Oh,
GameCube.
yeah.
I really kind of wish I had that system still, man.
What did you do with those systems? Did you sell them off, or did you?
Yeah, I sold a lot of them
Ouch.
off. Yeah, that was like either pay rent or pay bills. Yeah, but yeah, Wind Waker. I remember that too. Like
Oh,
those.
Wind Waker.
It's
Love.
like you're right because like the GameCube, there was games that were like similar to the Dreamcast that were just jaw dropping.
Yeah.
You know, like Dreamcast like had Soul Cal. Every time I would put that game in, my jaw would drop just because of how good it looked. And Wind Waker, Metroid Prime ended up being one
Metroid
of
Prime was
the
so
most
good.
seminal games of the series. Just you because also too that was us the heyday of Rare, right? Didn't Rare did that one?
Yes.
And you were worried too because it was the first time it was in 3D, but it was Metroid's version of Mario 64.
Yeah. Yeah, they went
Oh
full 3D, and it was fucking excellent game. Beautiful Joe at the top of my list of all-time favorite games. Beautiful Joe was fantastic. Another game that launched on the GameCube, and then they ported it over to the PlayStation.
and
Um,
Luigi's Mansion for GameCube was one of my favorite titles. That was another game I felt like was very unappreciated.
I played that game when it released on the Switch, and it was good, but I felt it was too easy, and I didn't seem to enjoy it as much as the GameCube. But I remember how much joy I got from playing
Yeah,
Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube. It was so fun, and to
Mario.
finally give Luigi his own game, to put him in front,
Yeah,
you're the star now, Luigi, and now Mario needs your fucking help. Okay, get out there and save his
yeah.
ass. So that was fantastic to play.
Mario,
Yeah, Mario. I
Mario.
love that, and yeah, I used to do that all the time, like constantly. It was useless. It did nothing, but it was just fun to press and just constantly have
Yeah,
to say Mario. Um, I mean, not all games were hits. They also gave us Star Fox Adventures, which is god awful. I mean, why would you take a great game like what you did with Star Fox and then Star Fox 64, and then you know what? This has been so great. Let's go ahead and put Fox on the ground and just let him, run around with a staff. Like, biggest mistake. Like, you shouldn't have done that. So it wasn't all, all hits, but when you had it, you had it. And they experimented more in the GameCube. What they did with Mario Kart, it was the only time in Mario Kart
Hmm.
where you had two players on one cart. Mario Kart Double Dash. And it added even though it was just one extra move, it just made it just a little bit more difficult to actually, you had to strategize a little bit more in this game because you had two characters, one driving, one in the back. The one in the back is throwing the item, but you can hold two items. So the one in the back is the only one that has the ability to throw the item. And if you want to throw your second item, which the driver is holding, you got to swap characters. So you got to remember to swap characters to be able to throw the other items. So it just added a little bit more difficult to it. And oh my God, I enjoyed that so much. I wish I could play that now, but can't play that online. But it would be fun to play that now. But yeah, the GameCube was fantastic, man. And Chris, shame on you, dude. Shame, shame, shame on you.
Dude, I was very limited in funds back then, and I had to choose my consoles wisely.
What did you have?
I don't know what year it came in. 2001. What was out? What else was out at that time?
That would be the PlayStation, the Dreamcast.
Dreamcast. I had the Dreamcast.
Okay, good
And
choice.
Xbox.
Good choice.
I got an Xbox on, right?
And then Twin Snakes. I don't know if you ever had that. Twin Snakes, Metal Gear Solid.
I played it. I don't.
Oh, can't forget about Paper Mario.
Oh God.
That was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that Paper Mario. And Resident. I
Eternal.
think you said Resident Evil 4 already, right?
Yeah, Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 0 was brought out to the GameCube. Eternal Darkness. If you never played Eternal Darkness,
Oh, yeah.
oh my goodness, you are missing out. So yeah, GameCube, man. I still own it. It's in my closet in the box, put away. I'll bring it out every now and then to play, especially my nephew. Before they started porting all these games onto the Switch, my nephew would come over and want to play.
Sorry, I just saw the text message you sent me. With the
Rando.
versus screen. Sorry, with the versus screen, I looked over.
But yeah, that's all I really wanted to touch on the GameCube. It's a very
Yeah.
underrated console.
Yeah, man.
And it
We had to
hits.
celebrate the 19th anniversary, man.
19th, baby. 19,
We'll do it again.
19 years.
We'll do it again next year for 20.
Yeah.
We'll go all out next year for 20th anniversary.
You know what? That's the challenge. If we can survive a whole year and do this again next year, Chris, play something. Because another game
I'm gonna have to get like an emulator.
Mario Sunshine, that one launched on
Oh.
the GameCube and still considered, in my opinion, the hardest Mario game. And it's available
Holy
now for
crap.
Switch.
I have a GameCube in my garage.
Oh my god. It better
I
not
do.
be holding something up.
No, I do. I have a GameCube and I have my Sega Genesis in the garage.
Oh, can we
Maybe
talk
I'll-
about those little discs too?
Oh,
I mean, talk about a lot
oh
of
my
wasted
gosh, I
fucking plastic.
love the little disc.
They wasted so much plastic in those the casing.
Oh, the cases, yeah.
Nintendo and the proprietary, like,
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I don't have a GameCube. Never mind. Take that back.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's
Yeah.
just an N64.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it belongs in the garage. Jerk. But yeah, 19 years of GameCube.
Cool.
We'll see you next year.
Thank you, Nintendo.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see you on the 20th anniversary of GameCube, and I'll play a game then. I could probably play Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube.
Oh, so
I
good.
feel like it's not as scary.
Fuck.
It's so crappy though. It's like, yeah, I feel like I could play like all the old scary games that I wasn't able to play as a kid because I'd be too scared. I could probably play now because they're not as scary, because the graphics don't like hold up. Kind of like old school horror movies. Like, I didn't like Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that growing up because I'm not a fan of like horror films. But now I could watch them and I could appreciate them because they're just not scary. Anyways, my celebration was also another thing that came out last week, and it's the 25th anniversary, so it's actually an anniversary you want to celebrate.
Shut up, man.
September
Jerk.
15th, 25 years ago, Hackers came out, and the movie Hackers, and it's like I want to say like I can't it like kind of holds like a special place in my heart because when I first started getting into like computers and stuff in high school, and like end of middle school,
You wanted to be a hacker?
I did, and so my reference when like later on was when Hackers like that was my reference, even though it's nothing like Hackers. Like, and that's what I found out. Like, I found out that obviously, like, it does not look that cool.
Yeah.
But that kind of got me on like this whole like kick of wanting wanting to be in computers, and I don't know, like I still watch it to this day. I am one that thinks that it ages well. I know other people
Oh
don't
my
think it
gosh.
ages well. Because I like the soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was great. Like a lot of electronic music, and stuff that I actually like back when I was in high school was like really big into.
Yeah.
And I mean, and like Johnny Lee Miller, Angelina Jolie, Matthew Lillard. It had so many people in that film, like so many like celebrities now that like it's where they're starting off, and I don't know, it's corny, it's cheesy, but it just brings a smile to my face, and I still watch it to this day. Like I'll still turn it on and I'll still watch it. And did you get a chance to watch it? I know I was shocked because Anthony, you said you never saw it. Did you get a chance?
No, I never saw it. Samantha did, but we rewatched the trailer and I was like, whoa. That's
Does
rough.
Samantha like the movie?
She liked it, yeah.
Oh,
I feel
wow.
like Samantha would like the film. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think she agreed, though,
Yeah.
it definitely didn't age well.
No, it totally aged well. It was like corny back then and it's corny now. Like,
But it looked like it wasn't the good bad. Like it
Oh,
looked like it was the
totally
bad
bad.
bad.
Yeah, it was the bad.
no, oh Caesar, you don't even How do you not like the film? I don't
No,
understand.
no, no.
Like,
I didn't say I didn't like the film. I just made it very clear that it doesn't hold up. I enjoyed this
I don't.
film
How
when
do,
I first watched it. I thought
was
this
it
film
does it
was
not
great.
hold up because like the cinematography was bad? Like,
Yes. Go on.
I mean, I guess so. I don't think like it's what I
It's just
expected.
I think it's the fact that we know what the internet is nowadays. We know how computers work, and it's nothing like what they showed us. This fucking world of when you're online or when you're hacking,
But
it's just too much. It's
but I mean that was the point, and that's what like at the time it got me into it. And obviously it's not like that, but that was the point because they obviously knew that hacking didn't look like that. Like, but how do you make a movie about hackers and like trying to
the
visualize it in the
Matrix.
but that's different. That's like that's not even like on the same level of like totally different movies and totally different genres. Um, but how do you make like back then? How do you make a movie about hackers appealing to a larger audience? So you have to like make this visual like a worm is an actual worm that's like eating
Mhm.
things, and a virus is like you could see the virus attacking things. Like you have to kind of visualize it, and like they had like cool like oh man the end scene when they like put on like the glasses and he like flips his like they had like technology that wasn't around back then somehow invented. Um, I mean I yeah it's like the plague like it was like the Da Vinci virus where it's like row. I wish that I wish you saw the movie Anthony because then you could I could explain and you know what I'm talking about. But like oh, we've been hit by a virus, and then it shows like Da Vinci's like man cover. I forgot what it's called. What's the three arm
The
like?
arms, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like row your boat, and that's like representing the virus that's gonna tip the boat over.
I feel like it would be, I'd have the exact same experience if I was watching Hackers as I did Kindred, The Embrace.
See, that I can set apart. I could definitely put Hackers on top of that. Compared to
No,
that,
it's so
Hackers holds
different.
up. There are those moments in
Oh
Hackers
wow.
where you're like, okay, this is a good film, but then it reminds you of what type of film it is, and you're like, man, that is fucking cheese balls. But it does have its moments. I mean, I think this is the first time I witnessed Angelina Jolie, and obviously got suckered into those eyes. So
First time you saw her like as a kid, you saw a boob on
Oh, a
TV, and
boob,
you're like,
yeah. The,
yeah,
the the brief nudity that we got from Angelina Jolie, the one
uh,
boob.
very. I'm just curious, like in the movie, like was the script supposed to show more nudity, but you didn't want to do it? There was no reason to do that nudity
I don't
in
think
the
she ever
movie.
cared, honestly. I mean, I think she's always had that same attitude where, like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, no, I'm not. I don't, whether she cares or not, I just think it's like an interesting thing, like the movie, like why they decided to just show that one split second boob, and that was it. It was just a weird thing. But I remember it as a kid. Obviously, you remember Angelina Jolie. Um, I don't know. It was a one film 25 years. So Anthony, you need to watch it. Like,
See, I can enjoy this film because it's nostalgic. I
yeah,
enjoy it, but I will watch it and I will be like, man, this is fucking cheesy. Like, I can't believe I was so into it. But it's still a decent movie. But again, it's because it's my nostalgia that's accepting of it as a decent movie. But in Anthony's shoes, I don't think he can do it. Honestly, I just don't think he can.
oh, I think you could, man. You also like it also gets you to appreciate like your initial like when you first signed up for AOL and your initial
Oh
like
my god.
initial handle like the like zero cool was was crash override was his older version of like how what he went by when he got older. But if you watch the film, like the main star Johnny Lee Miller, he was a kid that went by zero cool and he hacked and like went to court and got like fined and his parents broke up because he did this like massive computer hack and shut down a ton of systems. But he went by zero cool, and when he gets older and can use computers again, because he's banned from using technology till he's 18. The more when I
I
say
love.
stuff, the more I think how crazy.
I think it's funny that scene where he hacks the fire extinguishers
Oh yeah,
or
it's like
the.
oh yeah,
It's
pool
so
on the roof. The pool on
dumb.
the roof must have had a leak. Oh, it's so good.
So dumb. All you gotta do is walk up to the. lever and just pull it. What are you doing
Oh, it's so
hacking?
much cooler. It's so much cooler when you can hack it, man.
Oh God.
Um, but no, I highly recommend it, Anthony. I think you'd get a kick out of it, and then we could talk about it more in full. But yeah, no, that came out on September 15th, 25 years ago, and we were going to talk about it last episode, but I wanted to bring it up this episode because I thought it was a good anniversary to celebrate.
Definitely a good one. Definitely a good anniversary, and yeah, if you dare watch it. Again, I think it was a good watch back then.
Not if you dare. It's not like Kindred. Like this is
True.
better than
True.
Like I knew telling people that are watching this that if you watch Kindred, it's a bad show. It's terrible. But I still enjoyed it because of how bad it was. But this is not Kindred. This is a good movie. It's corny, it's cheesy, but just expect going into it that it's an 80s film, like a 90s film, not 80s film, but 90s. So it's very, very 90s.
Oh, they have that scene in that trailer where he sets off the sprinklers.
Yeah, pool on the roof had the leak.
Lame.
All right, guys. Getting toward the end of it. So it's our weekly. What are you reading, watching, playing? I'm gonna start off with you, Caesar. What are you reading, watching, playing this week?
Watching. Actually, I just rewatched. Oh, I watched for my first time. X-Men. Fuck, I don't even know what it's called. The Wolverine movie. Oh, is it the Wolverine? The one with the Silver Samurai?
Oh yeah, the Wolverine.
Okay, I watched that for my first time. Wow. Dude, I had no idea. I've always talked shit about Days of Future Past, but I never knew that this movie actually at the end ties into it. It still doesn't save it. But yeah, now I they never explained. Like, I was always lost in Days of Future Past as to why Xavier was still there. Well, in Wolverine, they show you that he comes back, and all he says is that he's full of tricks. So they still don't explain how he came back. But still, garbage movie. That's what I watched. Playing, I just finished Ghost of Tsushima, and fuck, talk about emotional fucking ending. Like I've been saying, that game is really, really hard to play. I just felt like I was just going through the motions. Just getting through the game. But the main story, which is unfortunately very short. So if you don't play any of the side stuff and just stick to the story, if you could pull it off without all that leveling up, it'll be a very short game. But that story is fucking good. I want to say I put in a good
60?
30 hours. No, I kind of ran through it. Like I'm telling you, I was going through the motions.
If you just do the story, would it be like 20 hours?
Oh, the story? No, way less than that. I would say if you just did the story, you'll probably get about 6 hours out of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, it's actually very short. The story itself is actually very short. But that story is good. That story is fucking good, and it ended fucking emotional. So, highly recommend it for the story, or if you want to watch the story, I'm sure you could find it on YouTube. Definitely worth a watch. If you're going to play it, you might enjoy it. But me personally, I don't like going through all the repetition stuff that open world games offer. So there's that. And another game that I just recently picked up and I am playing, and I don't know how I feel about it, is Metal Gear Solid FedEx, which are also known as Death Stranding. I don't know what's going on in this game. It's a typical Kojima game where it's just all whacked out, dude. It's all whacked out. You got questions. You don't get answers until probably the end of the game. And even then, you won't get all the answers you're looking for. But the acting is good. The story, I can't tell you much on the story. The game handles well. Kojima and his typical, fancy gadgets and... I don't know. I don't know what to say about the game. Give me a little bit more time with it, but that's what I'm playing right now. As of right now, I'm just a delivery man. Struggling to keep my balance, apparently.
Is there action in the game?
I haven't got to it yet.
There is.
Okay. I mean, I've seen some
fight people.
I've seen some action, but not the type of action where I'm involved, where I'm actually playing the action.
So what other type of action is there?
Like cutscenes. Like the action I've seen have only been in cutscenes. Nothing where I'm actually playing in action parts of the game yet. I'm still just delivering stuff right now, and having a tough time keeping my balance. Like, oh, I'm going too far right, going too far left. Oh, you gotta control it with R, and it's weird. It's weird. But that's what I'm playing. Not watching anything else. But yeah, X-Men or the Wolverine, garbage.
Anthony, can you top
I'm
the Wolverine?
watching in preparation. Well, I'm rewatching The Mandalorian because also too Samantha has not seen it, so we're going through that in preparation for season 2.
How far along are you? Is she?
We just got this 2 episodes. We're on the 3rd episode. Yeah, and then reading. I'm still just reading comic books. Really. I started that book, Save the Cat. It's supposed to be the last book on screenwriting that you'll ever need.
To read. Yep.
Going through that because I need to, since we have a date now for PlayStation 5, I need to finish my script, or Anthony will not be connecting his newly purchased PlayStation 5.
How long do you have? How much do you need to get done?
I still got a good chunk. I'm about, I think I just crossed 55 pages.
Okay, so what are you thinking? What are you going to end on? How many pages are you looking at?
At least, well, I want to hit at least 120 for sure, but yeah, so I'm what? Yeah, 65 pages out still, which is doable. It's now I'm in crunch mode. I'm cramming for the final exam.
You got a month and a half. To get it done.
And then playing Destiny 2, just because I'm trying to get a lot of stuff completed before they sunset a lot of the content in I think we're going year 4. So it's just a lot of quests that I'm trying to get, a lot of achievements. It's that grind, in the MMO, which and it's not, I'm trying to get everything. There's just a couple of things that I really, really want. So I'm just trying to complete those steps, and yeah, they're just a little time consuming.
Cool. So for me, I was going to talk about Cobra Kai, but I'm going to save that for another. I finished season 2 of Cobra Kai on Netflix. Not going to talk about it. I really want to talk about it, but Anthony, you have not finished it. So once you do finish it, we're going to have an episode, not really an episode, but a large chunk that's going to happen on season 2, specifically the last episode of season 2. So we're gonna talk about that. So I'll finish that. And Tasha and we've been rewatching The New Girl on Netflix, and we're season 6, and I don't know, I just love that show. It's so good. I think, like, I remember when I first watched it, I remember thinking Nick was like my spirit animal, but now, like, rewatching it, I love Nick. I love all the characters, but
Did you just call Nick an animal?
Was my spirit animal. Like, that's true. I did call him an animal. But I think Winston is hands down one of the funniest characters that I've ever been written on television. Like, I wish I had a friend like him.
Ouch. Thanks.
No offense to you guys,
man.
Like, you're really not as funny and as weird as Winston. So.
Yeah, way to go, Caesar. Dropping the ball.
I highly recommend that. Books I'm reading, the new Overstreet Price Guide came out.
Very shiny.
If you guys aren't familiar, anybody that's watching this isn't familiar, Overstreet Price Guide essentially is the comics price guide, where essentially it was like the comics price guide in the past, outside of like Wizard magazine. When Wizard was doing their price guides, Overstreet came out once a year, and it was essentially what people use to value their comic book collection. Obviously that's changed now with being online. There's like a lot of programs that utilize. There's just a lot of methods to find out prices of comic books, and a lot of them still use Overstreet as like one of their many factors into it. But so I got the new one, and I've been kind of going through it, and they have like a lot of like articles from publishers about, or not publishers, but comic shops about like how their year's been going, like what they've seen moving, like what type of things they're noticing, like trends they're noticing in things. This is the first. That's all ads at the beginning of the book.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of ads.
How many ads? And then essentially these are all ads too. Like I don't know for sure, but I feel like retailers pay to put these things in this price guide. But yeah, it's interesting. Here's the grading definitions. I've complained about grading forever, and I'm still going to complain about grading because I still don't understand what this means. Like when it comes to an actual physical comic book, looking at it, I don't. Yeah. But yeah, I've been reading this and kind of going through this. And as far as playing there's no playing.
Of course there isn't.
No, I'm waiting for the PS5, man. I decided that I'm just going to hold off until the PS5 comes out, and then we can have all the conversation about, because I'm going to play Spider-Man, and I'm going to play all those games because Finn's going to play the games with me, and I'll have something to talk about.
Maybe 15 minutes and be like, maybe a week, might be a week. And then they're like, oh, what are you playing? I'm just not playing anything right now.
I feel like when I first get a system, I play it for a while. So.
What do you think, Caesar? What's the over-under on this?
I give him a week.
Yeah.
He'll be heavy at it for a week. So
Yeah.
I think we'll have one episode where we're all going to talk PlayStation 5 and actually have something to share. And then the following week, it's just going to die.
Only a little faith. I want to put money on that. I'm gonna beat Spider-Man Miles Morales. Mark my words. I'm gonna beat it.
Damn.
It'll be the first game that I beat in I don't know how many years.
I'll take that bet.
What are we betting? A Cobra Kai T-shirt?
How do I win out of that?
Well, what do you want in return?
Let's think about that.
Okay.
Let's actually do something that, we could do on the show.
Yeah, there you go. I'll play it. Oh, actually, I probably won't play it on stream.
I was just gonna say, why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, I can, I guess I can, but then I have to move it from the living room into the computer room. Seems like a lot of work.
I got you. I could
You're
come
gonna
down there and I can hook you up, and I can have it playable in both the living room and your office.
How do you do that? I don't think you'll be able to. You can't punch holes in my walls.
Well, I don't have to punch holes.
You can't.
They don't look nicer, but
I don't want cable like running around like the hallways and
I
stuff.
have my cable all well hidden, covered up.
I actually was talking about when I'm moving, because I moved my desk setup. Obviously, I talked about this, and my cable management is a disaster. And I told Tasha, I was like, I need this to be over so I could call Caesar to come over and handle my cable management.
Yeah.
That's it, guys. That's it. That's for the episode. This is our first episode of YouTube. It'll be going up
Tonight? Tomorrow?
By the time you watch this, people, it will be on YouTube.
Well, duh. That's the only place to watch it.
Yep.
By the time you watch this, you would have been done watching this.
Yep. By the time it'll be over. It'll be on YouTube. And I appreciate you guys liking or subscribing to our channel. Hitting that thumbs up arrow, not that thumbs down arrow. Please don't hit that thumbs down arrow. That's mean.
Oh, that's right. YouTube has thumbs down.
Yeah, there's no reason to hit thumbs down. Like, it's just no reason. Just don't hit anything. But subscribe. We'll be back on Twitch hopefully next week. Twitch.tv/Rediscover Geek. Check us out on social. Check us out on all our social platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All at Rediscover Geek.
You look sleepy.
Yeah, way to sell it. Yeah, check us out.
I feel like I lost
maybe
my
Facebook.
I try to
maybe
get started
on
quieter because I feel
Insta,
like I feel like
Twitter,
TikTok?
TikTok, no. TikTok's now owned by the man.
Oh, that's right. And soon he's gonna take
it's
over.
all owned by the man.
I know, but TikTok's funny because like Walmart and Oracle are the ones that are gonna buy it or something, like partner in it. Like, who wants to use a platform that's owned by Walmart? It's like when what was that blogging site? Why can't I think of it? That became really popular and then Yahoo bought it and then it just died. Like, what was it?
Vlogging site?
It was a blogging site. Oh my gosh, Tumblr.
Oh.
Yeah, like
Never
it was
used it.
like Tumblr was so huge, and then Yahoo bought it for like billions of dollars, and then like just destroyed it because no one wants to. I feel like TikTok's the same way. People are gonna stop.
Well,
using it.
and look who might be. I think they are looking for a buyer. Quibi.
Vote
Who's looking
Quimby.
for
Are
'cause
they?
they're having cash flow issues. Big surprise.
Oh, that's awesome. They should have bought like TikTok. They should combine it. Like, combine TikTok and
TikTok and Quibi combined
Yeah.
forces.
yeah, it'd be fun.
Service.
Cool. All right, guys, that's the episode. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Hopefully on Twitch.
Fingers crossed. Bye.